You're on.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 45. We're coming to you live from Butler. Well, currently we're live, but this is pre-recorded because I'm traveling. So Sean is going to represent the audience today for the YouTube part, and Aaliyah is going to represent the audience for the app part. All right, this thing is tickling my throat. Guys, so Sean actually had a very good question, and it happens quite a lot to my students. And interestingly enough, both in the episode and in the app, we're going to cover what I would consider a pretty fundamental technique. But as Renzo Gracie says, there are no advanced techniques. They're just fundamental techniques done at an advanced level. I hope I didn't screw up the quote, but something to that effect. A lot of people screw up very simple things because they're not doing it technically. Last few weeks we've been focusing on grips, and it literally makes world of a difference if you grip. Maybe this arm is under the head, and you grip this way versus this way. It makes a world of difference, and that is a subtle difference. In these techniques, literally there's a couple of elements like that that are very important, and if you put them together, it's unbeatable. When you miss one or two, you're gonna screw it up. So, what is your question, Sean?
Yeah. So the question is, when you're trying to finish a triangle, how do you deal with an opponent that really jams you in and
Stacks.
stack you?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Guys, triangles are a favorite subject of mine. I'm very good at them. Yeah, it's true.
I can vouch.
Once I lock my legs, guys, it's like I can't recall the last time somebody escapes, and when they do escape, it bums me out very severely. So there's a couple of different ways people tend to defend triangles. Obviously, the most sort of rudimentary and probably the easiest one to execute, even for people that haven't been training that long, is just the posture out. That means you probably didn't set it up properly. But if you lock up your legs, you should be able to finish. You should not be stackable. And I've battle tested this, both with my students at seminars, at camps. The latest one I think I did in Heidelberg. I picked. The guy was pretty big, and I told him to stack me, and he couldn't. My affiliate in Czech Republic, that is one of the preferred ways to defend, and some of the Czech boys are pretty big. And I remember I was in Costa Rica, and Mike Rickwood, he's what, 6'2", 220, 100 kilo. And I asked him to stack me, and I wasn't quite a proper angle, so it kind of went over my neck a little bit. But basically what happens if they insist on stacking you and you cut the proper angle, you will wind up in a mounted triangle. If you do it well, if you cut that angle, you're just not stackable. They just cannot stack you. So let's go with that, all right? So, guys, again, don't try, especially if the guy is bigger than you. I know that's a bit of a, don't try to hit it like this. So guys go like this into the top lock, pull this guy down. Yeah, that's not going to happen. The guy is 200 pounds. This is not going to happen. If you throw a top lock on a guy like this, you will get your guard passed. So set it up properly. Make sure you kind of, I like the setup from split guard, break their posture, make sure that their head is low. And I lock it, right? We hold our shin. But what I'm going to do is you start to stack me. Come on, stack me good. Stack me, come on. Yeah. So, he managed to escape. This is a problem, right? So what I didn't do is I did not, so don't forget, what I'm trying to do is my hands from here pull him in. So they serve as a constriction, they aid in the constriction. But more importantly, they also, if I get stacked, they can also serve as frames. So start stacking me. Go ahead, stack me. Can you do better?
No.
So my arms, so this is what's happening. So when I'm constricting, the hands have a big role to play to make sure that he doesn't posture up. And my right hand goes under him to cut the angle. But once he starts to stack me, first of all, this angle, square on angle, is horrible. Do not do triangles like this. I've covered this ad nauseum. Do not, if you're looking at him, your triangle's failing, even if you get the sub. If you're in a self-defense MMA scenario, the guy can pick you up, slam you, knock you out. 2, if you square, this is where you stackable. Once you cut the angle, it doesn't quite, you're not quite as stackable as before, but also as I'm using my hands to pull you in, and then I can sort of start to pull you in, frame, pull you in, frame. So they have dual role. They have a role of making sure that you have the constriction that you need and he cannot posture out. But at the same time, you can use that to stop him from stacking. Now, one thing that so as I can do this. So pull, push. So it's very subtle changes. The other thing, one of the late stage defenses for triangles, this is probably the smaller guys, the more flexible guys. You break their posture, there's just no way they're gonna posture out. They basically lean back and throw the leg over. That's also a very good late stage defense. Again, if you do it the way I tell you to do it, it's just not gonna happen. 1, make sure you set it up properly. And now, as Sean yeah. So guys, the arm positioning is extremely important. It literally, when you do it the way I tell you to do it, it literally cuts out pretty much all the triangle defenses that I'm aware of. I told you that I don't care how big the guy is, once I lock my legs up. And I do this, I literally go to pretty much far-flung corners of the world. The German guys are pretty big, the Dutch guys are pretty big. I always look around in Heidelberg, there was probably 100+ people on the mats. I always get the biggest guy and like, all right, is your back good? Good, yes. Is your neck good? Good, good. All right, posture out, lift me, stack me, do whatever you're gonna do. It's not gonna work. So again, So right now I'm interested to make sure he doesn't posture out. I'm starting to feel like he's gonna try to stack me. What I'm gonna do is now I'm framing. Sean, can you pivot a little bit? Yes. So notice I'm basically pulling him in. Now my forearm starts to frame to make sure I don't get stacked, okay? Now, oh man, we're almost out of time. I do want to address one more thing. A lot of times people get squashed when they're with the stacking. They place that free arm across your neck. Yeah, so when this happens, again, you have the ability, go ahead. All right, I'm gonna lighten up, go ahead. So you have the ability to kind of push. I understand this is a little more difficult when the guy's 230 and let's call him thick. Well, maybe we need to borrow one of those guys for one of these episodes. The problem becomes when that happens, guys, commit to it. And in that case, you got to read it quickly. Do not give them a chance to get you to a certain point. So pretend to be portly or thick. Go. So if I feel like the guy is not posturing out, I will keep my hand on the shin to make sure he does not posture up. But I will also make sure that I'm kind of framing simultaneously to make sure that he doesn't stack me. So I make a decision which way is he defending, and I counter that first. And then but I'm always have a backup plan. If he starts to posture out, now I'm going to engage this, and I'm going to start to cut the angle a little bit more. Guys, I hope you like it. Please subscribe, share, check out the app. I hope by the time this airs that the Android version is ready. I'll see you next week.